Yep.
Hold on. Let me take a sip.
Friday.
Friday. Good, how are you?
I don't, once again, I don't know really what I did to have this bird's nest of a hair that looks like all the Easter eggs came from it, but
I think it's superb. I think it's festive.
it's like I had more time to sleep this morning and I was even worse about getting up. So what does that say?
Oh no, I had the exact same problem. So I had a conversation with the person I sleep next to saying, like, when you get up for the gym, make sure I get up. So
Yeah.
this lovely man was like, get up. And I was like, right. And then he came back in after the gym and was like, you did not get up. And I was like, correct. Thank you. Me and the
That's
dog
awesome.
snuggling totally next to each other. Yeah, but it was fun. We delayed a little bit. And I was like, it's perfect.
Yeah, right. Cliff, I referred to Cliff as my bedmate today. He did not appreciate that. He's like, I do not know how I feel about that.
But like kind of appropriate, right? Like some days I don't really feel like centered in my vows to you, but we still sleep next to each other. So
Well, I was complaining about the stuff on the side of his bed. It was wretched.
what kind of stuff?
He's a slob.
Oh.
So it's like wrappers and trash. It's
Mm.
literal trash all over his side of the room. For someone who's so mentally organized and has like a process of the way they do things,
Yeah.
he in real life is a tornado, but disdains people that are like that. It makes me laugh.
That's so funny.
Only he can be a slob because it's his mess he created.
Is it like, does he have like a drawer he can like just shove stuff in and deal with it?
That's
later?
full of trash. And it spills onto the floor and onto the bookshelf and onto the
I
other
see.
places around
So it was a
him.
slight domestic about dealing with your shit. And
It's
then your person
awful.
was so this was less like you were the husband factor is less important in this one moment than the fact that like I share a bedroom with you and a bed with you and this is the problem.
Correct.
I feel like bedmate is an appropriate term. Like you're
That's
not
why-
being a good bedmate.
That is exactly it. Like,
I
I do
would've said
not
the
want to
same
share
thing.
the space with you. You are yucky.
I would have said the same thing.
So that's how I kicked off my day with bird's nest hair and a messy bedroom. And I'm looking forward to just getting the hell out of Dodge today. We're going to the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum. And
I've
then,
never been there and it's been
Oh
on
my
my
gosh.
must-do list.
yeah,
for
I'll give you
years.
some. Yeah, I'll give you some guest passes because we're members. We've been members for years.
How did I not know that?
I don't know.
Okay,
My
I
kids
definitely
love
want
the
to.
activities up there. Like next weekend, we're going up there for the nasturtium exhibit. It's
Oh,
like
cool.
breakfast with a jazz band and a beautiful garden setting.
Okay, so I've heard it's great, and I also have always wanted to do a deep dive into the stolen paintings.
Mhm.
And I feel like you can learn a little bit while you're there. Okay, that's gonna be like my spring date. Maybe.
Yeah, it's like such a great collection, and I love visiting it in every season because there's something new blooming in the garden area every time.
Oh,
So it's
beautiful.
always just like a different look, which
And the
is just
building is
exciting.
cool, right?
Yeah, it's really cool.
Okay, where in Boston is it?
So it is right basically on the campus of what is that college? It's like in the middle of two colleges.
The entire city of Boston is a college campus. so
I know,
that's
I
not
know. That's
helpful.
also true. So that's not fair. It's like near the museum. So the Modern
Take a
Art
dri-
Museum is here, and then it's a college that begins with an E. I can't remember it.
Okay.
And then like
And-
in between Northeastern's campus.
Okay,
It's
I
like
was gonna
in
say
a very
you're talking about the northeastern area where that's Commonwealth, isn't it?
yeah, it's not far.
Okay. Cool.
It's like very well nestled. And I like that it's on this weird common that you can most of the time find a parking space, which is
Oh.
probably my least favorite wretched thing about
Well,
visiting Boston.
We know I have severe parking anxiety, and that would be that would be why you haven't gone yet. Because
Yep.
I can't justify like the amount of anxiety it would take me to get into the city to enjoy a solo day at the museum. You
Yeah,
know?
well,
But now I have
they've
a
got
team and I
metered
can-
parking all around that
Ooh.
block, so it encourages people to get the hell out of there, which is actually really nice.
Okay, good. Okay, cool. All right, I'm going.
It makes it more engaging, and honestly, for me, that takes the parking anxiety out of Boston, because in this one fashion, I do agree with you on the parking situation.
But you
It's
still have to
anxiety
parallel
riddled.
park into the meter, no?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, so
Now that's out for you?
Oh, yeah, gone.
Tori, get better at it at parallel parking.
Not in a Jeep.
Somebody else was complaining about their Jeep today.
No, it's not even that I'm complaining about the car. It's just that the car's big and I'm little. And like, I love it. Don't get me wrong, I love it. But I can't park for shit anyway. I'm just any fun things this weekend for the holiday?
No, we're getting out of Dodge. We're going away, which I'm just really thankful. I mean, granted, it's only New Hampshire, but it's still getting away.
That's nice. They probably have snow up there right now.
Yeah,
That's exciting. What
a
do
little
you
bit of it. Oh, Emmanuel. That was the e-college that's
Oh,
next
yeah,
door.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
was like, which one? I'm not gonna let it go. Which one? That one.
Perfect. Well, that's exciting.
Yeah. So we're doing that. And then basically tomorrow's supposed to be sunshiny.
It
Granted, it's
is?
only 45.
What's Sunday supposed to be like? Do we know?
Okay. Partly
Mm.
cloudy.
Typical Cape Cod Easter.
I know, right? Cape Cloud. What are you gonna do?
Cape Cod Gray.
Yep. So we're gonna just leisurely make our way back home and maybe stop for Easter dinner in Boston on our way home.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, so just something different.
Well, that'll be nice.
What is your fam doing? Are you like boyfriend, not boyfriend? Are we celebrating things together?
You asked such a good question.
Is this the first holiday?
No, we did St. Patrick's Day. So
Okay.
we got it up. We
Not
got
a
that
real
out of the way.
holiday, but okay.
Correct. But the way we had to like jump back and forth between the families made it feel like Thanksgiving. So I feel like I'm a
Okay.
veteran already. Okay. So that being
We've been
said,
done this.
that being said, right, it's like an actual holiday now. So I'm not trying to impose. I'm not trying to stress. I'm like, I don't know, we're new. I don't really feel like we need to like do the family holiday thing yet. Like I am very comfortable in this place of like separation. Like it
Yeah.
just feels like there's less responsibility here. There's less pressure here. I don't have to like I love it. All right. So here's a couple weeks ago. Actually, I had the date. It was the 22nd because we had a full argument about this. On the 22nd, I sent him a text message. This was after St. Patrick's Day. I sent him a text and I said, I'm looking ahead and thinking ahead. Do I need to create an Easter something? Because he knows, like, I would never show up anywhere empty-handed.
Right.
Like, I'm not gonna. And he goes, nope. And I'm like, cool. That was like my very passive aggressive way of asking, like, are you going to ask me to come to Easter? Because I'm not going to say no to you. And I'm going to have to prepare. And like, I want to know now as opposed to like 2 days before because I would have to scramble. This man texted me yesterday. My brother wants to know if we're going to Easter. What do you mean we? When did we become a we? Like, are you going to Easter? Do I want to go? I asked you a month ago. No, not even a month ago. I asked you last week. Now, okay. So the answer is I don't know yet because I'm feeling a lot of pressure.
Well, to be fair, I'm a very last minute person, so I do understand that. And if the date is not directly walking into the date, I'm not ready or prepared or even know where I am at that point in time. So long-term planning, it's not for him.
But that would be why I like tried to trigger the conversation because I knew I was thinking ahead. You have to know that like my brain is already like in Memorial Day era. Like I am like already in
ahead. Summer's already over for Tori.
The way my brain works, I'm like trying to like figure out how to sell shorts and it's, still raining out. Like that's just where my brain goes.
Yeah.
So and I understand we're getting used to each other and it's a new relationship and we're figuring it out. But for the love of God, I like tried to trigger the thought process. Still didn't work. And still we are here dealing with it. So
yep, he wasn't ready for it.
And then, of course, it wasn't just like, oh, this is how my brain works. It was just like, I'm a guy. Oh.
And also he's a guy.
So
that's fair.
It was just like feels like a forever transition from like independent, do whatever I want, single girl life into like just he's amazing, but having to coordinate with a man is I forgot how brutal it is.
Yeah.
Forgot how brutal it is. So the answer is, of course, I am going to Easter, and I will be there in a perfect Easter outfit, and I will probably bring something that I will figure out how to manage with 2 full days of work between now and then.
Perfect.
So
Perfect.
you betcha. Yeah, well, we'll figure it out.
I love it. Let's get into what's roasting. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be perfect.
I'm perfect. It's gonna be perfect.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
I feel like that emoji with like the little dog sitting in the chair, but that's like my forever life. Like, when am I ever gonna get out of the burning room?
Never. And there you stay, Tori. Not burned though, just in the burning
God.
room.
It's just awful.
Let's do it.
You want to start us off?
Yeah. Let's roasting. King Charles.
Yeah, so he is skipping. He skipped a pre-Easter service. How many services are over there for holidays like this?
You know, it's got to be daunting, the amount of commitments they have. And if you're just like recovering and then your family's recovering and you got a lot of stuff going on, who cares if you missed pre-Easter Maundy service? Like, that's the Thursday before Easter. Like, seriously?
I agree. But I think it's interesting that he like is acknowledging it. Like, does enough of the country celebrate Easter to its absolute fullest with all these little micro acknowledgments enough for this to go noticed or unnoticed? Like, I feel like you almost didn't have to acknowledge it. Like, if it was Easter itself, like, I get it, but it feels a little like over excessive to be like, he's sharing a message of gratitude as he skips the pre-Easter thing. Like, okay, we know you have cancer and like you got a lot going on with your family. So like this of all the things to comment on or not comment on, this one probably could have get brushed under the rug.
Well, is it a shot at like you're less religious than you should be? Is it one of those like shots at your faith? Is it something more along the lines of the church not happy with this? Or is this just what's going on? Now you're missing important things.
Or maybe it was just like an official royal duty that he just didn't go to. How many like official royal duties are there though?
I feel like in 2024, we're over making all of the commitments. Like, we'll have a full slate of things, but if something happens, most of us now are like, see you next time.
Yeah, I agree. But there is an interesting debate there too, which I think people talk about with the royal family a lot, is how much of the royal family is obligated to appease the public.
Yeah.
And especially in things like Kate coming out and talking about her cancer, like there's a level of, well, it's your personal medical business. You did not owe us that information because it is personal, but also at the same time, she is effectively like a product of taxes from the people. So there is a level of like, well, you owe them some information. And I think it's just an interesting debate about like where that line is and
but
how
also
they
we just don't allow it. We'll dig and speculate and make it so much worse before we have to just tell the truth and be honest about what's happening, even if we're not ready for it, which I think is gross.
I agree with you, but I also wonder, especially in a case like this, like what the people of England in the UK care about versus what the world, and I really mean like the cultural push of the world, which is social media in the United States, right? Like what we care about versus what they care about. So this is a really good example of that, of maybe the people care about when King Charles is missing an official royal duty, i.e. a small Easter holiday. However, the US really carried the cultural push for getting information about Kate. It was really US social media. So I think it's an interesting conversation there about like what information they should give us versus like, oh, us. And I say us as if I was a person of the United Kingdom, but quote unquote the world.
The people.
Like, right. Like what information are they obligated to give versus not give versus, you know, when you are like quote unquote an employee, like your entire life is funded by the people of the country, right? And you are using that money for foundations and whatever. But like that being said, like they're paying your property taxes. They're paying everything for you. That is the entirety of your existence is at the will of the people. If they didn't want you to be there, be a monarch, be a figurehead, like they would revolutionize the system.
That's also changing people to people, right? I mean, your 70s, your old school people are like annoyed that that's not happening.
Yeah.
where most of the current day and age where like, shit happens.
Mm-hmm.
See you next year. Feel
Do you,
better.
do you think there's a future for the royal family?
I don't think it is going to be the way it is. I think
Yeah.
it's definitely, we're seeing a massive shift
Yeah.
in that space right now because we don't care. Our values are changing as a people in general.
Yeah.
So I think you're seeing this shift. It's not just the crazy cosmos and everything that's going on around us, which is wild right now. And we've talked about it all week long of
My
the
God.
just massive shift in the way we function as people. Um,
Yeah, I can't help but wonder
this is going to
if
be the difference here, and the new monarchy is going to decide what they're going to be whenever Kate gets better and the
I
shift of
also
power.
I think though Kate and William have such a mirror to what traditional UK monarchy is that I wonder how that's going to go because they
Yeah.
almost could like reignite that like faith in the monarchy and that belief and that exuberance for them, right? Because they really kind of act as like that king and queen figurehead. They hold those values, they hold that level of decorum, they do the events. They really kind of are in like a very traditional sense.
They are,
Perfect
but they're not
monarch.
stuffy and unapproachable like the
No,
past.
they've definitely modernized it, but I do
Yeah.
think they are in approach and in view like very traditional to that sense.
Yes.
So I think there's some trouble maybe in the care of it when it's Charles, and I hate to say that, but like he's so far away from that traditionalized monarch where like
Yeah.
he came to it really late. His wife was somebody that was a divorcee that he couldn't be with before, that like you know what I mean, like he's had so much complications to him, and that
Yeah.
generation of kids has had so much complications to him too with Prince Andrew and whatever. Like I wonder when there's that turnover and it's
Yeah.
like a true traditional that like hasn't been caught up in scandal, is like a true with level of decorum and the whole thing. I wonder if we're going to see the UK shift and to like almost more faith and like more excitement for the monarchy
Yeah.
again, and then how they're going to handle that. I think it's a
I
toss up
I
on how it's
equate
going
them
to
all
go.
to like just like fashion, for example. I
Ugh,
see like
the way
King
Kate
Charles
dresses.
as like Hot Topic. And William and
Yes,
Kate are J. Crew. And
I
I
agree.
feel like Harry and Meghan are like Forever 21. Like, if we're,
Agreed.
if we're gonna look at like fashions, like this is, I look
I
at them like this. It's
like
just very
drops
funny. You
wear
know
in the
those
mall.
people.
100%.
So there's always going to be the J. Crew of things that comes back because it's just
It's classic.
classic. It's timeless. It's that
Listen,
style.
do you want to come work for me
No,
or okay?
I'm just saying, as a viewing brand,
Mhm.
these are how I view these brands of people.
No, I totally agree. And also too, like just a shout out, there's not an outfit that Kate Middleton wears that doesn't slay.
True. That's fair.
And I get probably like biweekly emails from my grandmother, like, "Have you tried this outfit?" And it is just a picture of Kate. Like, I don't have her bone structure. I don't have her figure. It's never gonna go. But like, agreed. But
You're
agreed.
like, I love it. I am not that. I am different.
I would love to be, but
Speaking of different, I really love this story. Tracy
oh
Morgan, I
my
saw it this week. I had a good laugh at it. And then I walked away. He said he recently added 40 pounds while on Ozempic. He said, I out ate Ozempic.
It was so funny. It was a really, really funny quote. And of course, it like got so much attention. And then, of course, he comes out and is like, "You guys, it was a quip for like, I'm a comedian. Like,
Right.
why are you taking me that seriously?"
Exactly.
Which I think is so funny.
But
Um,
also, like, he's been through hell and back, accidents, crazy situations. And I think it's just really funny that, it doesn't work for some people. And I love that he just was like, of course, I'm that people
but
that it
he
doesn't work
did,
for.
but he had to correct himself because he came out and said, Ozempic did great by me and I was glad to use it. Then he said, I love this man. I take Ozempic every Thursday. It cuts my appetite in half. Now I only eat half a bag of Doritos.
There you go.
It's
And a
like
joke that
relatable.
raised $2 million for a foundation that helps youth while he was doing comedy and making fun of himself. So that is, I feel, the classic comedian way.
I just think it's so funny the internet took him so seriously, and it was like a story. Like, it's Tracy.
Because it's what everybody is using right now as like the end all be all. So if somebody contradicts that, it's automatically going to be a story, even if it's
it's
just
true.
a joke. Because they're like, well, there's that one person that it didn't work for, and let's magnify this.
I know. Do you have any like peers or friends that are locally, I guess, like in a normal socioeconomic area? Because like celebrities don't count. Like they of course have
Right.
access to it, but I wonder about like regular people. Like how accessible is it becoming?
Very accessible. You can get it at your hairdressers.
What?
Yeah.
So
We
do you have friends and
Oh,
people
yeah.
in your life that are using it?
Yes.
And how do they feel? Like, are they excited by it? Are they like,
I have friends that are using it that don't need to use it, and it kind of irritates me.
that's
And
so
then
annoying?
I have friends that are like have dramatically lost weight, but
Mhm.
it's just they have like a saggy face. It's called Ozempic face. It's like a look.
Wait, what?
When you lose a ton of weight immediately, like you all of a sudden, like it's like a face. Google it. I'm telling you.
I'm
Look at her. She's
Googling
like,
it
I
right
must
now.
see what this looks
I'm
like.
literally Googling it right now. Ozempic face. What is medical news today? What is Ozempic face and how people can avoid it?
It's a thing. So I have friends that I honestly, one of them I did not recognize when I saw her after seeing her for
Is
like
it
3
from the
months.
weight loss though? Or
Yes.
is it
I don't think it's technically from the drug, but I think it's because the weight loss is extreme for some people. And this particular person I hadn't seen in maybe 3 months.
is
That
it
it was
anything that Botox can fix?
I don't think Botox can fix that. It's kind of like when you lose a ton of weight, when you watch those like Biggest Loser shows where you just have all of this excess skin.
Well, then that's got to be everywhere though, right? Like that's
And
got to be
it's
like
so soon.
arms and chest and like boobs got to become saggy. Like everything's got to
Every
kind of drop, right?
Yeah, everything.
Is it worth it though?
I mean, if
From
you're healthier,
yeah.
is your
Yeah.
cardiovascular system working better? Is it like it's not exactly a
Yeah.
vanity project, even though it's become a vanity drug, which
Totally.
you absolutely can go get when you're, any boutique, anybody that's got a nurse that gives them Botox or B12 shots, they definitely have the back room semaglutide, and they're like, come on in.
Is it Ozempic or is it one of there's a few other?
Yeah, it's just like the brand of, I don't even know how it's actually pronounced. It's not even pronounced like I just pronounced it, but
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's not anything that
it's like semaglutide.
yeah, it's obviously not anything that I would be considered for.
You're good.
Like, I'm just aware, but I
But
think
you know as well as anybody else when you are in a space, especially fashion or or otherwise, that pressure to lose weight, stay that way.
I
and
do
another
wonder.
drug to throw your friggin' actual blood sugar off is a little scary to me.
I do wonder if this was 10 years ago. Like in the
Is it
height
the
of
new
my ballet.
Fen? Probably.
If I was in the height of my ballet career, right? I wonder if I don't think I would ever be like, there's no way I would walk into a doctor's office and get approved for it. Be no way. But I wonder if it's going to become like a black market drug in athletics, in the dance world and things like that. I mean, I don't know, but I could only assume. But I also think too, like it decreases your cravings, but it doesn't take away self-control. Like you still have to.
Well, it's like it paralyzes your inner. It's the same as Botox. It's like Botox for your digestive system.
Yeah. But you still have to not eat. It makes
Right.
it easier to not eat, but you still have to have the self-control to not eat.
Correct. And I've heard a
Mhm.
couple of my friends that have pods talk about it and that have actually talked about just eating right through it. They're like, we powered through. It's like, okay.
So it's possible. Nothing that you would consider, right?
No, I mean, I would. I mean, if it
Yeah.
was the right thing for me, but all of my labs look good. So it's not like it's a harder sell to my doctor to be like, give it to me.
Yeah, there's no reason to. If you're a healthy individual, then, if we were talking about heart problems
Clearly, I'm
or
not the
cholesterol
bastion of health, but all of my labs indicate that my body is functioning properly. Do I want to throw shit in there to get it to function wrong
well, you
or
work out,
better?
so you work out pretty
I
consistently
do.
too. So I feel like that's probably doing more for you than like anything you could take or shoot.
Yeah. I just need to eat less crap and booze less. I
But
know what my problems are.
but like the my so but this goes back to Ozempic though, because Ozempic you would still have to battle that self-control. Like, you would still have to, like
100%.
the Ozempic would make it easier to battle and would be, like, maybe take away that need for a drink, but you would still need to, like, not have the drink when you went to the bar.
Right. Exactly.
So, that sounds like a self-control problem,
Yeah,
my
right.
friend. For you.
Exactly. I know what my problems are. Ozempic's not going to help it.
Is it tequila? Which one is it?
It's all of the things. I'm an equal opportunity offender. I'm like, oh, it's Patty's Day, Guinness. Oh, it's this, wine. It's this. We'll have a cocktail. It's all of
Mm,
the things.
makes sense.
I know. We just have to have far less of it. That's all. All right.
Mhm.
We got more Diddy news, the latest developments and what's going on.
So, 50 Cent is I'm not
He's
describing
been
this.
stirring the pot since
Oh
day
my
one,
god, the whole time his on
stirring and
Twitter,
stirring the
X, whatever you
brew.
wanna call it, which is pretty
Hmm.
freaking funny, Instagram, all the things. But his baby mama was named in a suit by the other guy. What's his name? Jones?
Diddy?
No, Lil Rod. Lil Rod, um, we talked about this. Lil Rod filed a suit against Diddy,
Okay.
and within it came out with, like, a lot of accusations, etcetera, and named 50 Cent's baby mama in the suit as
One of
one
the
of
sex trafficked
Diddy's.
women.
Yeah, I don't know if she was trafficked, but more like a hired individual.
Okay. So sex worker.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so I guess it was Jones had claimed in his filing that Diddy bragged about having several women on a monthly stipend, referring to Joy and two other women, Joy being the baby mama. So I guess
Gotcha.
he 50 Cent comes out on Instagram. It says, I didn't know you was a sex worker. Side eye emoji. You little sex worker. LOL. Yo, this shit is a movie.
There's 50 Cent is terrifying, but also 50 Cent is very, very entertaining. And he can write a show like no other. I was like so obsessed with Power. I didn't watch any of the other spin-offs, but I loved Power. He was absolutely terrifying, but I was thoroughly captivated. His whole everything he does, I find just absolutely amazing, creative, and he's a funny dude.
He's so I just think you little sex worker. LOL. Well, anyway, now like then literally the next day, he filed for sole custody of their son. So
Yeah.
I think it shows you like what he's putting on in the public versus like what's actually going on in his home.
I will
Um,
find you. And by the
yep.
way, listen, ho, I'm taking the kid too.
Oh my god. They dated between 2011 2012 and they split shortly after the birth of their son Sire, who's now 12. He's also
Unbelievable.
got another kid who's 27, Marquise.
Yep. I knew about those ones. I didn't know about the little one. So get the little one. You got the money for it. You got the brains for it. You'll be a good
So
dad.
funny. For like he just came upon that news, did not listen to any of his PR team, like say nothing until we figure this out, and instead he wanted to go on Instagram.
Absolutely
I
not.
didn't
He's
know
been
you
roasting Diddy for days. He's sitting back laughing, having the last laugh because he's known all this dirt. He's like, I've been known this. Nobody asked me.
Yeah, you wonder how close he is to it though. Like he's probably like, don't get me involved, bro. Like I just
100%.
made sure that like my dressing room was like far away from yours.
He's got his own issues he's already walked through, so he's
Yeah, that's
good.
true.
So everybody's been listening to the new Beyonce album.
No, it's not out
Yesterday,
yet.
yesterday it came out like at midnight. So it's
It
been
did?
like
It did?
yeah.
I didn't
So
know.
even RTB this morning was like, "You listening to Beyonce?" It was like 6:01. I'm like, my eye just opened. It's a late morning.
All right, so I'm behind.
But
1,000
that's
pardons.
okay because that's what's being
Oh,
talked about already.
I'm only behind by like 8 hours, guys.
Right.
It's fine. Okay.
So they had the Australasian release that had Blackbird and also Jolene in there.
Yeah, covers.
That's some heavy hitting stuff right there.
Yeah, in she's also got she released a track list a couple days ago, which was originally what I was just gonna say and talk about, but it didn't even seem like a track list to me. They were kind of just random words on a poster, but okay.
Yep.
But she did do rumored to cover Dolly Parton's Charlene. So can we confirm that that came out? She did that on the album,
Yes.
and then she also did Blackbird, I guess.
Yes.
Okay. And the album itself is presented as a broadcast by a fictional Texas radio station, Country KNTRY.
Okay.
All right. And she's got other guests, Miley Cyrus and Post Malone. But Post Malone's coming out with his own country album. Miley Cyrus is no shock because he probably had to. I bet you Dolly was like, if you're going to cover me, go ahead and put my whatever goddaughter on that album. Why the hell not?
Absolutely.
A little bummed Taylor Swift is not on this album. She was like, the internet wanted it so bad, it would have been so good. We'll just have a collab between those two would have been like bananas.
Well,
But,
everybody's now ranking her albums. So,
how is it faring so far?
as far as variety is going, the release of Cowboy Carter, second onto the second. They're putting it second.
What's first one? Renaissance?
So,
What's number
number one
one?
is Renaissance. Yeah.
Did I miss the boat? Everybody's obsessed with that album.
Well, I loved Cuff It. I could probably still listen to it and
Yeah.
dance like nobody's business. It's something about it.
So should I go listen to Renaissance and then Cowboy Carter, or Cowboy Carter and then go back to Renaissance?
I don't know. Just get
I
into
don't know either.
Cowboy Carter and then you decide where you feel like it falls on the list.
All right. I guess I can get into that
I
today.
hate being swayed by other people's opinions. I feel like I need to digest it myself.
It's fair.
And I haven't had a chance to even listen to an iota of it.
I just wonder if the hype is worth it.
Yeah, we'll
that
see.
kind of is my question about Beyonce anyway, but I know people also feel the same way about Taylor Swift, and we all know I'm like a full true Swiftie at heart. So like I'm not going to be out here being like, yo, you Beehive people are crazy when I'm like fully part of the most chaotic fan base ever.
Yep,
so
absolutely.
I'm not going to like throw stones at a glass house. But the storytelling of Beyonce is just not quite the same. So I'm interested to see how this album comes out.
Yeah. Yep. To be talked about at a later date. You wanted to talk about the Kristen Cavallari situation. Cavallari, however you want to pronounce her.
Well, the only thing we have said about her on this podcast is that we find her vehemently annoying every
Yes.
time she opens her mouth. We talk about that a lot.
Who is the child she is dating?
That's a great question. He's a TikToker. 24-year-old TikToker.
A legitimate child.
From a group called the Montana Boys, and they are famous for lip syncing songs. That's all their videos. And I can't help but wonder. On one hand, I think Kristen Cavallari is like a brilliant businesswoman, like fire starter, media mogul, like doing her thing. On the other hand, I feel like this relationship probably matches her personality and her brain perfectly.
Yeah, probably.
And I don't know how to say that without being mean. She just has always kind of come off to me as like basic.
I
don't
think
come
that's
for
just
me.
where her space is. I don't think she's ever going to grow out of wanting to be 22. I feel like that's just kind of where she lives mentally.
But she has 3 kids.
I know. She'll be a good mom to a point. You know what I mean? Everybody has their strengths and weaknesses. I don't think dating a TikToking child is really good for her, but maybe it is. Maybe it appeases something in there.
He could be a mature man. I just feel like when you are telling people the reason you got on TikTok is because you wanted to go viral and you thought the way to do that was to lip sync other people's songs with your shirt off. First off, slightly brilliant. Second of all, like kind of get it, but like
we're
that's
not
a shot
mad at him. He's hot. He's a good-looking guy. Like they look like it's a very lustful relationship.
The whole group, and like a little my type, but that's aside. But I'm also 30. I'm allowed to say that.
Right.
I feel like it's different when you're 37. I just wonder what they have in common.
You saw what they have in common. Their sex life on Instagram right now. You can feel the smoke coming off of that photo that you sent me. I was like, well, that's hot.
No, totally. But
I'm not mad about it.
here's where they start to lose me. I totally get you're in this new relationship. I have no problem, and I am not remotely judging, like, you're dating a 24-year-old. Like, girl, get it. If that's what you think, if that's what you want, if this is where you want to be in the time of your life and you want to get after it, oh my God, I support you. Girl to girl, go for it. Where I have the problem is, like, you are standing by this so hard that your Instagram is only becoming this. And that's where I'm like, we might have a problem, because your identity doesn't need to be this relationship, and your identity definitely should not become dating a 24-year-old man. Because
Yeah.
that probably is like a lot of eggs on a basket that is like not fully developed. His brain is not fully developed. That basket is like not fully woven. Do you know what I mean?
Almost done growing.
Yes. I agree that he's hot. I agree, like, do your thing, but you want to shout it out a little bit. You want him to appear in like a few stories. Like, cool, I get it. I think it is so risky to your public-facing demeanor, to your personality, your pop culture place, to invest so much attention into this relationship that is like brand new, probably like a little unstable because he's 24, and you don't know the future of because he's 24. Like, have you?
Yeah.
That's where you start to lose me. So I get the, like, one picture you're kind of announcing your relationship. Like, get it. I get it. Cool. I mean, you guys have only been dating for a couple weeks, but like, if that's what you want to do, I'm in it. You did a podcast with them though, asking them about their views on love life. Like, they're 24. They don't have any views yet. They don't know what they're doing. They're 24-year-old men. Like, I feel like 24-year-old men should also agree that they don't have enough life experience to have an opinion
Right.
on a love life. And as
Yep.
a 37-year-old woman, why are you responding back with this full, like, pick me energy and asking me these questions? Like, you should know they have no idea.
Right.
You should be lecturing them.
Yucky.
You have been married and have kids. Like, why are you eating up everything they're saying? Because 24-year-old men who have not, like, done a single goddamn thing in the world, but created videos to somebody else's song. Like, okay,
Hey, listen, she's hot. They're hot. She's going to have a good time with this one. We'll see
she's
where this
posting
goes.
pictures with, like, his initial
I
around her
know.
neck.
I know. I know.
And pictures of them making out. Like, now I have a problem.
I know.
I don't know. Maybe I'm also
And
like,
her children are going to have to see it. It's just a thing. It's a phase she's going to have to deal with later
I've
on in
been
her life.
dating boyfriend not boyfriend for like almost a year, and we don't have a single picture together. I just can't. with
Well,
this.
where are your lust shots on social media? It didn't happen unless you're like steamily making out on social, right?
That's a lot for me.
Oh, I love it. Nancy
Yeah.
Drew over here. What's our content, Rex? What do you got?
I've read a really, really, really horrible book that I do
Okay.
not recommend. But it's on Kindle Unlimiteds, and it's for some reason getting a push. So this is my PSA. If you see this very cool, interesting cover, blue, bright, it's got like a couple of fancy diamond rings on it, and it's called The Marriage Auction. Yes, really interesting premise, really, really terrible book. Don't bother. Don't bother. And it is a series. You don't want to read it. It's not even like good spicy. Like, it's just weird. Just move on. That's all. It's my PSA.
That's your anti
Yeah,
recommendation.
my anti-rec. Yep. What's on your
right.
recommendation list?
Well, I'm actually going to finish a book that I've been trying to finish for a really long time. So it's Billy Porter's biography. So I will let you know how it goes. I'm very
Love it.
excited to do it. Have not read a book this year. I'm anti-Tori. I'm opposite of Tori.
Perfect.
Not one. I've not finished anything. I did start our nonprofit organization. So we actually made the official announcement today on National Mom and Pop's Business Day.
That's exciting. Do you want to talk a little bit about it?
No, I'm just really excited for it. Just cultivating local voices, our community, and some food. It's just something that we're passionate about, and I'm excited for it. And it's exciting to do it with my family, which is, I don't know, not something that I would see myself in 2024, but here we are.
It's
We're
cool
doing
though.
it.
Love it. Should we talk a little bit about the schedule for the next couple weeks? Just so
It's
people
going to
have
be a little
heads up?
wonky, so travel with us and be accepting of
Yeah.
who you might have visiting our pod in the
Yeah.
next couple of weeks.
So looks like the plan is, now mind you, they say you make a plan and God laughs. So,
Right.
but this is the original plan. Normal episode Monday, normal
Yes.
episode Wednesday. Friday looks like a solo pod diving deep into what's that show? The Nickelodeon stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going
amazing.
to be taking that one on my own, quiet on set.
Awesome. And then guest on Monday morning.
Yep.
And then Unsure about Wednesday currently.
Right.
Okay. All right.
We got it covered. We got
That's
some
it.
full moon energy coming at you, and I've got some planned special guests, so I'm excited for it.
Very exciting. All right. Well, we keep you up to date. We'll post all those on the Instagram, who they are, and all those different things. And that's it. Enjoy the weekend. Have
You
so
too,
much
miss.
fun. Have a good
Happy
holiday.
Easter.
Thanks.
And I cannot wait to hear how that went. Get perky with us Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at the First Shot Morning Show. I know I gotta go find a recipe or something to like pull out of my ass now.
Yeah, you do.
The First Shot Morning Show is produced by Lemonadio. When life gives you lemons, make radio. We encourage everyone to listen happier.com.